Yo, everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I'm joined this week with Paul and Pedro. What's good, guys?
So, fellas,
What's up, guys? Paul, you're back from vacation.
yeah, I feel like I haven't been. We had that episode maybe 2 weeks ago, and that the recorded one that had a problem,
Oh, the
and I
one that
feel
never
like
aired. Yeah,
I feel like I've been gone for like a month.
that's true. Yeah. Yeah, we had a little mishap. How's your vacation?
Good, good. Always too quick, but it was good.
Okay. Um, a lot happened in TV this week. I feel like I want to get into episode 2 of The Last of Us briefly. Main topic is going to be the rehearsal, the new Nathan Fields show, and we'll just catch up on a couple other things that kind of hit our radar. Paul, you were saying that you had watched Sinners, which is #1 in the box office. That movie actually killed, to my surprise. How was it?
Um, I thought it was really good. It was like Dusk Till Dawn with a different vibe. It had, I mean, first of all, it's WB from
Warner
Studio
Brothers?
WB. Yeah, it's getting a lot of high ratings, but it's not making a lot of money. I think it's right now it was sitting at 61 million opening weekend,
I mean,
which
that's
is
pretty
good.
damn good.
Yeah, it's good, but like then when you like, I guess it's hard because you're comparing it to like Minecraft and things like that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but man, Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan working together, like their movies together, Fruitvale Station, Creed, Black Panther. These two are a combo like, they're gonna end up being big. I think they work really well together. Ryan
They're like
Coogler's been on fire.
they're
They're
like
like Scorsese.
Scorsese and De
Yeah.
Niro.
Well, or I was gonna say DiCaprio.
Well, De Niro, because they're both still so young.
Yeah.
DiCaprio was the protege, in the 2000s.
But
But
this was like this in this movie. Like I said before, it was Dusk Till Dawn, but they incorporated music. Music like was its own character. The new kid that they picked up, this kid never acted before, Miles Clayton. They
mm,
picked him up from, I think Ryan Coogler was saying he got some like audition tapes from musicians, and this kid was playing in his basement in the dark, and that was his audition tape. And he held his own with Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan again, like throwing a clinic because he played twins, brothers.
yeah, I saw that.
So these brothers, this was set like in 1932 Mississippi when racism was at a high. They had Klan out there and all that. These two brothers were like World War I vets. Um, they After the war, they worked with Capone for a little bit. They got some money, some beer, and they came back home to open up like kind of like a dance parlor, a music parlor for the blues
Yeah.
in their hometown, and just trying to come back and make it right. And that kid Clayton is their cousin, who's real good on the guitar and singing. He's a blues genius. There was one scene in this movie where they incorporated generations of different music, and it was so beautiful, like so interwoven with each other. It was just a really good scene. It was an amazing scene. The movie itself was really good. I mean, it's getting a lot of hype, which I don't like. Like
You don't like hype?
I think it's like getting to a point where it's overhyped. Like the best movie of the year, maybe. Yeah, it was really good. The best vampire movie, hands down. The best like horror movie in a while. Like people like I don't know. I hate when hype goes like the hate goes too far one way and the hype goes too far. Is it
Yeah.
good? Yeah. It's probably one of the better or best vampire movies. But I enjoyed it. And you probably heard it. There's a mid-credit scene that
No,
like
I don't know.
there's a
I
mid-credit
know
scene you got to
they
stick
teased
around
the
for it.
sequel, but
I wouldn't say it's sequel. It's more of like an end note to the movie. You really
okay.
have to see it, or else you miss. It's a big scene that just shows like where the movie kind of goes, and then they have a small little like post-credit scene. But overall, hands down, definitely a big recommend. I enjoyed it a lot. Those two, like I said, man, they're on fire. Like I loved Creed. Fruitvale Station was really really good. Black Panther was amazing. It was a different level. Like it was a
Mhm.
mature Marvel movie, like that was done really well, especially for like a race who hadn't had that kind of representation in Marvel movies and stuff, and to create Wakanda out of nowhere. So these people got talent, but
Okay.
definitely a
Yeah,
big
that
So,
recommend.
Box Office Mojo has it at #1 for the weekend, uh, overtaking
right,
um
Minecraft.
the Minecraft movie. Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
it got #1 at the box
And
office.
both are Warner Brothers, so Warner Brothers has the 1 and 2 spot right now.
Damn,
Warner Brothers from bankrupt to crushing it.
better lower my Max subscription.
But I thought like something that was getting like 100 on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever, like all this hype. I was hoping it would do a little bit better. But I mean, like, I get you can't sneeze
Yeah,
at
but it's
1
tough
million
for
either.
it's tough for an original movie to do that well unless it's carried by a big movie star and big name director. In this case, it is, but it's still like an original IP that's not a sequel or a spin-off or something that they don't track as well.
And it's rated R too.
And it's rated R, yeah. But I'm glad it did well. I'm sure they'll do a sequel. I am looking forward to seeing this. Pedro, you munching right now. What is that? Crackers?
Just some crackers and cheese right now.
This was a theme. You guys are munching on the last one too.
Oh yeah, they were. I try not to eat. Sometimes I'll have a drink, but I usually don't eat on the pod. But I guess like the timing that we do record, people are hungry. Pedro, you and I, you put out that you wanted to watch what I thought was a movie, but it's a television series on Apple Plus called Government Cheese, which is not a title that I like, to be honest. And it took me a while to come around to see it, but I did see it. So it's kind of like did you see it?
Yeah, I watched the first 2.5 episodes.
2.5. Okay. What did you like off the top? What did you think? Why was it kind of like what about the trailer was lured you in?
Honestly, I didn't remember much about the trailer, but something just with the title of it just reminded me that, oh, this might be good. This might be good. And then when it actually came out, like the name it's stuck in my head. So yeah, I agree. The name kind of sucks, but it was catchy enough that it stuck in my head and reminded me when it came out that, oh, I wanted to watch this.
Yeah, this came out on Apple TV Plus last week. I think April 16th. Not the entire series is out, but there's the first 4 episodes. It's about, I guess it's about like an ex-convict that gets out of prison. He finds, a new lease on life through religion, and he's trying to reconnect with his family. It's a bit of a comedy, but also pretty serious in tone sometimes. Like it does get violent unexpectedly. But it has this like charm to it. It's almost a Wes Anderson kind of like feel to the movie, this quirkiness that's in it, that's always present. Did you felt that? Like something about it. It has an identifiable like trait about it.
Yes, I felt like that too. And also stylistically, it kind of looks like something Wes Anderson like. Not with the shots themselves, but just with the colors and like the
the sets,
and the dress and the sets and stuff.
Yeah, the framing is all really nice. The lighting is all really well lit. The characters look great on camera. They dress like it's like everyone's kind of perfect, but
you get that with Apple stuff, so it's not like it makes it unique in a way. It's everything on Apple kind of looks like that. So
yeah, the hook is like this guy, he's reformed, he's out of prison, he's trying to bounce back. He's kind of like a former swindler, and he invents this drill that sharpens itself, and which just seems like a legit invention. And he wants to sell it to a corporation, Rocket Corp, I think is the town corporation. But then he inadvertently gets into debt with the local mob of French Canadians. It's like 7 brothers. That's as far as I got. It's kind of like the major plot and the driving force of the show. But yeah, it's 30 minutes. It has this charm. The main lead, David Oyelowo, maybe that's how you pronounce it. But he's great. His kids are great. He has like these 2 really kooky kind of kids. One is super smart. but he doesn't seem to really take initiative on anything or stick to anything. And then his wife, Simone, played by Simone Missick, she hasn't done a lot in the first 2 episodes yet, but I feel like they're building up her story a little bit more. And then obviously these French Canadian mobster dudes. It's good. It's good, Paul. I think you should. It's worth checking out the first episode. I'm curious what you might think about it. And I'm trying to find this dude's name. Of course, he's not even in the top billing. Oh no, he is. Bokeem Woodbine. He plays Bootsy. This guy was in a Tupac video back in the day.
He's in a ton of stuff.
He always looks the same.
He's been acting and getting roles since the 90s, and he pops up. Look, funny enough, I saw him on an airplane one day.
Damn.
Yeah, I was just walking. He was just in the seat in like first class, and I'm like, I know exactly who that is because he's got that face that you just nobody else has that face.
I never even knew his name. I've seen him in a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
His name is Bokeem Woodbine.
Bokeem Woodbine, yeah. I think I saw him like it was on a flight either to LA or from LA. That's why I'm like, oh yeah, it's definitely him. He's like probably going for a role or something.
He's in the "I'm Mad at You" Tupac video.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Oh, this guy is I thought his name was something else.
I think that's the same guy. He has those eyes.
Like, no, that's him.
That's him, right? Yeah, he plays like the cousin or something.
Yeah. What did you think about that? I thought that flood scene in the first episode in the jail when the fight breaks out and the flood happens, I thought that was crazy. That was a crazy scene. Like, it was really well done. What did you think about that?
Yeah, I thought it was dope too, because it's they set it up. They show you what's happening, but you don't understand what's happening with the toilet paper. I think he created some sort of backup in the water system, and then all the pipes burst. But when the water starts coming down the stairs, it suddenly like splashes, fills the whole screen, and then suddenly everyone's underwater fighting because the brawl continues underwater. Yeah, it was kind of I don't know. And he's like reaching for his Bible too. So I don't know metaphorically what they were going for there, but visually I thought it was really dope. You don't see stuff like that. It's a little like fantastical in a way.
When you guys mentioned this, I thought it was like a government cheese, like it was like a documentary about like aid or whatever. This guy is like a music video pimp, man.
He's on everything, right?
He was in Tupac, I Ain't Mad at You. He was like in a bunch of Wu-Tang songs. I remember him from the big hit with Marky Wahlberg.
Yes, he was.
And he was so funny. He was strengthening his wrists, and he was like, "That's why I got that cash." This he was in Gridlock too. Yeah, I know this guy. Wu-Tang, Take Your Neck.
He was in Spider-Man: Homecoming. Yeah, this guy, he's one of those guys that like, to us he has a very recognizable face, but he's like a working actor that just has like paychecks constantly coming in, which is nice without being like the big celebrity. He's in everything, man. His IMDb is stacked.
He voiced Invincible too.
Yeah, he's probably the most veteran actor out of everyone on the show.
What a range too. He goes from like Fargo to Ghostbusters Afterlife to Invincible.
He has the best agent in the world, bro.
What do you think about them incorporating like the whole like religious element into this character? Do you think it's necessary? Do you think it moves his character forward in a way or not? I mean, I guess it's the basis of him reforming.
Yeah.
From being a petty criminal in jail to coming out and wanting to do good. But
yeah, I think when he was in jail, the first episode opens with him. It's funny because it opens with him and you think he's getting out of jail, but he's actually coming into jail. Did you feel that in the first two shots?
I was confused by that too.
So he's actually going into jail, and then he's kind of looking for a purpose, and he finds this. He finds, I don't know if is the pastor, but he basically tells him this story about like, who do you want to be? Do you want to be this guy that fights for himself, or do you want to be someone who just sort of like stands by and watches as the bully sort of, imposes himself on you? So he takes this righteous path, and yeah, it propels the whole story, propels him as a character. He's this like overly ambitious, I don't want to say he's a happy-go-lucky dude, but he's very optimistic, right? He's very smart. Everyone on the show, his whole family, they're all incredibly smart. And yeah, there's certain scenes where, he's talking to God, for example, when he's like raking the leaves, he's like, give me a sign. And then there's a frog out of nowhere, and the frog does this like leap over what do you call that? That
Like the pole vault.
yeah, pole vaulting thing. Show's weird like that. But yeah, and then he sort of takes that as a sign to go back.
Take a leap of faith, yeah.
Yeah, to go back to the other guy and say, hey, you have a purpose. Your purpose is to do this. And then the faith kind of propels him and propels the show ultimately.
Yeah. And you don't see that a lot. That's kind of like a subject, I guess, that a lot of shows and movies don't want to like centralize, because that kind of be like shoehorned into being, oh, this is a propaganda or like a religious thing.
They also present religious in a more abstract way, because when he's ignorant to religion early on and he's discovering it, his pastor, he's like, it could be Jesus, it can be Yahweh, it can be Allah, it can be whatever you want. And he arbitrarily picks Yahweh because he likes the name. So
yeah.
The idea is not like one religion or another religion. It's more the idea of religion itself, and this sort of, being like reborn through faith, I guess.
And I guess it's the push this character needed to get him motivated once he gets out of jail.
Yeah, 100%.
I really like I know you mentioned it. His family is super interesting. I really love the family dynamics.
Yeah.
On this show, and I found myself thinking that if the show was just about his family and not like the other stuff, I would still watch it. Like, that's how interesting.
They're crazy, right?
The family dynamics. If it was just like a comedy sitcom type with some drama sprinkled on top about just his family, I would watch it.
Yeah, they're because when he comes home, it's like the whole place is broken down. Like the fridge doesn't work, the stove doesn't work. It's like, the man leaves and then nothing suddenly works. And his wife makes him sleep in the garage. It's alluded to that she's having some other relationship in the second episode. But one of the kids, the older son, simply rejects him upon his arrival. And then the second younger son, and they're both like in their late teens or 20s, like completely wholeheartedly accepts him. So there's this dynamic with the two kids, one of which is like a genius, but they're all kind of geniuses in a way, right? They haven't really addressed that. It's just like, it just is.
It seems to run in the family.
It seems to run in the family.
Worth noting, the show takes place in what seems to be like the 1960s or early 70s.
Yeah, late 60s.
And that just like makes the show for me too. It's just visually pleasing, stylistically appealing. Just the colors, the outfits, the cars, and the environment, 60s, 70s, like California era where they're in.
Yeah.
It's a nice touch, man. And it gives it a nice palette.
The palette is dope. It's also, there's nothing like broken, run down, or ugly in any scene. Everything is like really polished. Like, I don't know, it just, everything looks great. Like the way they dress is phenomenal. Always like well kept. The cars, his bike, like everything is in good condition. It feels like it's, yeah, like you said, it's just nice to look at. Even the garage, when he's working in the garage, aesthetically, it's just like really nice. So yeah, I urge people to watch it. It doesn't have as high as a rating as I thought it would. I don't know why that is, because the show is super original. it's both comedic, but also there's like a cloud of potential violence at any corner, because we see people straight up get shot and stabbed, and but the tone doesn't really change, but there's that weird feeling that it can. So yeah, recommend that. Government Cheese. It's on Apple. It's on Apple right now. A couple episodes. Go watch that. Paul, I want to let you come in. Apple's been on a little run.
Yeah, I mean, with this, I got to check this out now. I didn't get a chance to look at it, but it looks good. Between this, the studio, they just had Severance season 2. They've been on a little bit of a run, Apple.
Yeah, they're picking up. They're getting to the point where they're getting to the point where they're trying to fill their catalog up to the point where they can, be for the potential consumer, be an option, where Netflix has a gazillion things, Max has a lot of things, everything else has a lot of things, and they've just slowly been building up their library.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a good time right now, because I know
it may not be, they may not have a lot of stuff, but what they do have is quantity over quality at the moment.
Yeah, they also have Your Friends and Neighbors, which also just debuted, with stars John Hamm, Amanda Peet, and it's also getting like pretty decent reviews. So yeah, if you got that 30-day free trial for Apple TVs, now's a good time to cash it in, because there's plenty of stuff on there to get into. Paul, you mentioned the studio. We talked about the studio when it premiered. I recommended it again last week. Did you like it as well?
Studio reminds me a lot of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, it has that vibe.
How everything runs back around, it's like they who cracks. I mean, Seth Rogen's good, Catherine O'Hara is good. Who
Sal?
Really I love, is Sal. Ike, whatever. He was on Mad TV back in the day. He is so good, especially in the last episode, man. He's like, he's really good.
He's
but
really
it's been
good.
Fun. I mean,
the last one was the burrito one.
Yeah. I wouldn't say all the episodes are like for me. I wasn't so into the detective one. That one was like okay, where they found the real and all that. The last one was hilarious. It's been good. But it's really like it really feels like a Curb Your Enthusiasm type of vibe.
It's that kind of humor where it's it's a team of, he's the studio head, there's the executives and marketing people around them, but they're all kind of constantly clashing and bickering, and because like some adult thing needs to happen. I really like the oneer where he's on set and he keeps ruining the take. There is, to show you, like, there's a brilliant scene in that episode. There's two that I was really like, holy shit. One was when he goes to the bathroom because he really had to pee, so he goes to the bathroom, and when he comes out, he sees the talent, the actress who he was talking to, and he's like, hey, so anyway, like, and he doesn't realize that she's in the middle of a one take, and he ruins it again. Like, the way they work the camera in the show is so clever. And on that episode, it just paid off. I was saying last week, like, I literally went back and rewound it to rewatch the last 15 minutes because it's just really, really good writing and directing. Like, the camera is always in the right place. And the end, they pull up to that shoot, and he's like, "Oh, you shouldn't park here." He's like, "What do you mean? I'm the president of the studio. I can park anywhere I want." Meaningless little thing. And at the end, he ruins the last take because his car is in the way.
It's everything. It's a domino
payoff.
Effect.
Yeah.
It's like, the car was a payoff. The change of wardrobe, because he didn't want to wear a suit, so he didn't wear the backup wardrobe from the thing. He's a very likable Matt or Seth Rogen, whatever. He's a very likable guy to root for because he has a passion for like movies and all that.
Yeah,
You want him to succeed in his endeavors, and like, but it's great, like the hijinks they get into.
Yeah.
And it's so cool seeing like the last episode had the director from Smile and Smile
Yeah,
2.
yeah.
Like it's really cool seeing the actual. It's cool seeing actors playing other actors, but it's also cool seeing um, actors playing themselves and directors playing themselves and so forth.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a nice little like it's cool. It's a cool little show. It's been entertaining. It's fun.
Yeah, watch the studio. That show is dope. Pedro, you should. I know you watched the first episode. You weren't sold, but I urge you to continue when you can. I want to pivot real quick. I want to talk about The Last of Us episode 2. Just because I know there's been somewhat of a strong reaction. Paul, I think you hinted that you kind of know what the spoiler is.
Yeah, you guys go into it. I played a little bit of the game, and I remember I remember this being like a big part of it.
Okay, Pedro, what did you think of that? Because I remember our conversation from a week ago, and I didn't want to obviously spoil anything, but
Yeah.
you were kind of I know from our conversation that your expectations were going somewhere, and this kind of just like blew everything up.
Yeah, I think we universally all were in agreement from the pilot episode that we're like, oh, we don't know if this is going to hold up to season 1 and what they created and the introduction of these new characters and things going downhill. But this episode just came out of nowhere. But this was like out of the blue for those of us that don't know the story so far from playing the game this much or this far. Yeah, I mean, it was just, the main character gets knocked out, killed in the second episode of the new season. So yeah, a lot to digest. A lot to digest. A lot of
It's
a lot
funny.
happened. The one thing I was thinking was, wouldn't it have been even more incredible if they had managed to make this the season 2 premiere? Like just taking a little bit of the first episode that we saw and removed all the filler and added it to this episode, made it a little longer and made this the season 2 premiere and just like start off the season like this.
Yeah, they could have done that. I think the first episode was a little bit slow. What I think they did with the first episode, they sort of established some of the new characters like Dina, Tommy, Marie, I think her name is.
Yeah, which is understandable. Yeah.
And we needed to know Tommy from episode 1 to understand and root for Tommy in episode 2. They did a nice trick of building up this tension between Joel and Ellie. And obviously you anticipate that to be resolved this season as like an ongoing plot point. But by killing Joel, that just like pulled the rug from under you.
They'll never get closure on that. They'll never be able to apologize to each other or tell each other, that they love each other.
I gotta rewatch the season 1 finale because I started watching the first episode and I was like, I don't remember because it basically, I know it's a 5-year time jump, but they basically start off episode 1, season 2, where season 1 finale kind of ended, and I was like, I don't remember. It's been a while. I thought it was like a year, but
Scott pointed out it's been 2 years.
So I got to rewatch that finale again.
Yeah, in the game, this when this happened in the game is extremely controversial. Like some people really pissed. But in the game, the difference is that like you start off as Abby playing without knowing who she is, what her motivations are, anything about her. You're just playing this character. So then when that character kills Joel, you feel like, why did I just kill Joel? Like, and then her backstory is revealed later as you play the game. So it's extremely difficult to swallow. It's like a shock to the core. So people are really upset. What they did on the show was they showed her motivation first. Like, Joel killed these people. Now I want to kill Joel. So when they meet, the blow is not as, it's still tough, but it's not nearly as I guess hard of a pill to swallow because you see it coming. But even I think up to the point you think he might get saved or he might turn around or something might happen.
Yeah, you think that up until the last second, and then like she just slowly drives a stake through his head.
Yeah.
Like while they're talking while they're talking out of nowhere, while you think the decision's still being made of whether he's gonna be kept alive or not. And you're like, oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cold-blooded. So the show now is, it's a different show now because the lead character is gone. And, the game obviously is also a very different game. The game is extremely dark, much darker, much more violent, much more brutal than the first game. It's a game all about revenge, and what it does to when it consumes people. There's some stuff that the show might keep out, I would think, but the show is going to be pretty intense. So I'm curious if people are going to stay on for that, not having Joel sort of following Joel every week. I know he's still going to be on in flashbacks, so we'll still see him probably I don't know about every episode, but the game has a lot of flashbacks.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the viewership reaction is compared to the reaction to the game. Because I know what you mean. I know a lot of people that played it and say they completely hated the sequel to the first game.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how many people, if as many people dislike season 2 as dislike the second game. I want to point out in the scene, the ambush scene where the village, where the town gets run over by the infected, and that like big mega monster infected guy.
Oh, the
like
bloater.
That boss, comes out. That was just giving me video game vibes all over. It's like, here's a boss coming. And then when Tommy like just is out there like fighting with a flamethrower, it just reminded me that anytime I play a video game and they give you a flamethrower as a weapon, it's so satisfying.
And there's a boss coming. Like there's a reason they give you that.
Yeah.
And
I love using flamethrowers as a weapon in the games.
Yeah, and they had basically a mini boss in this episode, Tommy versus the bloater. That whole scene was sick. That must have been a fortune for them to produce that, but that entire battle of Jackson was awesome. Not just the horde, but when they came in, like they let the dogs out. Like it was crazy. What I thought was funny is like in the midst of like the clickers or whatever running through the town, you see like main characters like just casually walking through the middle of the chaos, and none of the clickers were attacking them. I know that serves a narrative purpose, but it just looks kind of silly to me. They're just walking through the chaos. But yeah, we'll continue following The Last of Us. Paul, it'd be great if you catch up, because I feel like it's going to be kind of like White Lotus, where every week we might have just like even a little thing to say about it, just to sort of catch up.
It's so hard now. It's like so much good stuff is just coming out at like, we went through this drought and now it's like it's nonstop. Like just so much good stuff to watch.
Yeah, it's there's a couple shows like Your Friends and Neighbors on Apple TV. That was on my list. I haven't been able to watch that.
Black Mirror, you guys talked about. I haven't got a chance to watch that. I'm dying to watch that one too.
I haven't been able to watch that since we discussed it. Yeah.
You teased it on the last pod. You know what I hope we see? The Rat King.
Oh yeah.
That would be pretty sick.
That would be pretty sick if they can.
I don't know if they're going to save it for this season or for season 3, since they announced season 3. But you kind of teased at it, you hinted at it, and I think that would be dope to see.
And you played that part of the game?
No, I played predominantly the first game. I didn't play
okay.
a lot of I touched game 2 for like a second.
So you don't even know what the Rat King is?
I know what he is because like I researched the second game when it was coming out a little bit before I got a chance to play it. So like I knew people who had played it. I know he's like an amalgamation of like a whole bunch of shit just thrown together.
Yeah. Hell of a boss. Yeah, he's not like a, he's a creature, abomination, as you said. But yeah, hyped for that. White Lotus seems just like it was forever ago already.
Yeah. I mean, damn. Yeah, White Lotus. One thing I just wanted to mention. I know the other recording didn't go through, but just a quick mention again of Val Kilmer. I know we didn't do a shout out to him because of that, but amazing artist, sad loss. He was just. I have Tombstone up next to watch. Just an amazing actor.
Nice. I love Tombstone.
Yeah.
Love those 90s westerns.
That's on my queue. That's on my queue too. I don't remember if I've seen the movie or not a long time ago, but I'm definitely gonna check it out.
I know we talked about it a little bit on that pod, and I just wanted to I think it was worthy of a mention.
Absolutely.
To get it out there.
Let's move on to main topic. A weird main topic. Usually we do. I feel like the show's a little underrated for a main topic, but we're going to talk about The Rehearsal, the Nathan Fielder HBO show. This is season 2, by the way. Dude got renewed.
Did you guys see season 1?
I did. Yeah. Did you see season 1, Pedro?
I did not, and I didn't even know it existed. This was my first taste and introduction to it. Was watching the trailer for the upcoming season.
Okay.
And then when I looked it up, I saw, like you said, that it's actually a second season, and they actually did something similar to this in the first one.
Have you ever heard of Nathan Fielder before the season 2?
I wouldn't know who he is by name, but I definitely know the face. And if you asked me what has he been in, I wouldn't be able to tell you, but I know him by face.
Okay. Yeah, he's a pretty low-key guy up until this series. I think he's more famous for Fielder for You, I think is it Nathan for You.
Yeah, that's where I've seen him. Nathan for You. That was, I mean, hilarious.
Nathan for You, Pedro, is like a TV series. I know it literally just from YouTube, to be honest. You can watch the episodes there. He pretends to be like a business consultant, and he goes to businesses who want to increase, visibility, revenue, marketability, whatever, and he proposes this ridiculous ideas, and they go through with them. So
one blew up on YouTube. It was all over the place. I forgot, it was a Starbucks one, and I forgot what it was, but it blew up. He's just hilarious. One thing I don't like though is I feel like sometimes he takes advantage of people that are more susceptible to being fooled.
You
a
have
little
to
bit.
be somewhat gullible to talk to this guy for 10 minutes and say yes, right? But that's kind of the premise of the show. He was also on The Curse. We talked about the Curse last year. That was the Showtime series with the Safdie brothers and Emma Stone. That was a weird show too.
Yeah, apparently he's one of the creators of that, along with one of the Safdie brothers, Benny Safdie. So he's a creator and a writer, and he starred in it.
Yeah, strange show. Which again, the show is also kind of like this. It's about a couple who's being followed by a camera crew making a documentary about a project that they're working on. So you do get that same kind of what is real kind of impact of his shows. The Rehearsal season 1 to me has an incredible start, and then it begins to fall apart at the end. It just gets weird, maybe uncomfortable, and it kind of loses the plot a little bit for me. But Paul, do you want to try and set up season 2?
Season 2, I know it's supposed to be a comedy. I don't love the fact that they're targeting this airplane crashes, especially that it feels like it's happening more frequently now, especially in the last year. And some of the humor is a little dark, and I remember back in the day. Do you guys remember the DC Sniper?
Yeah, the actual thing.
Yeah, so Hot 97 I used to listen to Hot 97 a lot, right? And then they made fun of it, and they were like, "Another one bites the dust," and they would play that song when somebody would
Oh,
get
jeez.
sniped, and it was like so disgusting, and it kind of made me like it was off-putting for me. I didn't listen to Hot 97 like I used to anymore after that. It was messed up. And this I like I want to watch it so bad, like I want to love it, but I just hate that it's like targeting airplane crash, and it kind
But
of
here,
deviates from that a little bit.
I don't think it is. The show, it's not really funny. It's not really, it's more of like just a study. You're just observing because in the first 10 minutes, he says the show, this show, I'm making this show for HBO Max. I'm making the comedy and like I haven't been funny in the first 10 minutes of the show. And then he cuts to like a clown being run over by a clown car and a bunch of people laughing. And then he goes, "Okay, guys, that's enough." And all you realize that the whole thing was staged. I mean, obviously it's staged, but all the actors just sort of go, "Okay, we're done." Um, it it's called the rehearsal because he looks at a problem in life and he tries to remove any variable in that problem so that it becomes perfect and solved. So it's constantly rehearsing until he solves that problem. In season 2, the problem is airplane crashes due to pilot error. So he studied a bunch of documents, and I've already, this topic is known. I think I heard about it on like This American Life or Freakonomics, one of those podcasts, that usually when a captain of an airplane is potentially making a mistake, the second pilot is too afraid to speak up. So he looks at transcripts, and that's a fact. It's a reoccurring thing. Like, so he attempts to solve that by removing variables within that relationship of the two pilots. So that's basically the setup for the show.
But in such a ridiculous way that it can't be
Yes,
taken serious. Like there was
but
one
it is
part.
taken serious. Everyone takes it serious.
Yeah, I guess like I feel like it was so awkward with the co-pilot in
The
this
couple.
episode. Yeah, and like you can't take it serious because like okay, so he's talking about plane crashes and all that, right? And then he walks by, and then the actors are still laying on the floor from
Yeah.
and they're like, "Ow!" Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just like so I don't know.
Pedro, what did you think of the pilot, the first episode?
I know when I saw the trailer and I shared the trailer with friends and everyone, I told everyone I don't know what to think of this because I don't think I've watched or experienced anything even similar to, or remotely similar to this. Like I said, I've never watched Nathan For You or the first season of this or any of his other works. But yeah, it's like a psychological trip to me because there are times where I don't know what's staged and what is sort of like documentary style for real. I think we all understand that the co-pilot that they have in this episode, like he's a real person that they found and that volunteered to do this. But it just weirdly makes me feel uncomfortable not knowing what is true and what is scripted, what is real, what is scripted. So yeah, it gives me an uncomfortable feeling. Not that it's a bad thing. It's just nothing I've watched before has ever made me feel like that. And yeah, back to what we were saying about this isn't really a comedy. I know Nathan mentions it towards the beginning of this. He set out to do a comedy. The HBO gave him a budget to do a comedy, and that's like how he approached some of the subjects and stuff like that. But then, it's like it turned out to not be a comedy, and nothing of this is comedic at all. But I think it's hitting at the perfect time with all these aviation disasters happening right now. And that's what sparked my curiosity was, is this going to be a documentary explaining about why all this stuff is failing for us right now? But then it just turns out to just be like this huge social experiment, like this psychological social experiment. So yeah, I'm just like, my mind is just boggled by this. I just learned that the apparently his girlfriend, the co-pilot's girlfriend, is that's an actress. That's not his real girlfriend. I thought that was like his real girlfriend that they brought
Really?
onto the show and stuff. Yeah, and
I
that
thought that was an actress too. I mean,
yeah,
sorry, I thought that
I
was
thought it was his
his
girlfriend.
girlfriend.
no, that just blew my mind right now, because if you look up on IMDb, and I'll share the link, it has the name of the actress portraying the name of the actress, and she's been in a bunch of other stuff.
He does
Wow.
hire actors.
So unless
But I was-
I'm making a huge mistake on this, that just blew my mind right now reading that, because I thought that was like a real thing between him and his girlfriend and their relationship issues that they were having, and how this exercise as putting her as a pilot and him as a co-pilot in this sort of training, well, like, was gonna sort of help their relationship or not, but
What is
that's
her
not
name?
that's not her real. So if you go to the IMDb page, you see she's like the second one down. She's underneath Nathan Fielder under the top cast. That is definitely her, right?
Oh, that's not her. No,
That's not the girlfriend.
I don't know, because it says she's in. No, she's only in season 1. Yeah, she's from season 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ignore what I just said then.
No, I think that is his
I
girl.
thought this was just about. I thought this was just the cast for season 2, but this is.
No, what they do is like they'll cast actual actors, but then he'll train them in like the Fielder method, he calls it, which is like
Yes.
basically you study a real human and you just mimic that person. So
And
they
then
had-
that's also confusing, because when they kind of showed like the explanation for that, they look exactly like the people they're recreating. How did that
was
happen?
great.
If they weren't like intentionally, it's, you see what I'm saying? I'm so confused by it.
There's a
In a
scene,
good way, though. In a good way.
There's a scene where he's on the phone with a media rep from United Airlines, and he's trying to convince them to get access to like this pilot's room at the airport. And as he's walking, he walks into the United rep's office, and you're like, whoa. And he's like, okay, that was a good rehearsal. Thank you. And then he has a whole separate conversation with the real person, but the set design and the conversation and the actors are so perfect that
Yeah,
you
they
are
had
fooled. You
they
are
had a
completely
Delta
fooled.
sign. They had a pilot outfit in glass. Like he just walked over, and it was just all a rehearsal for the actual call.
He built a real scale airport terminal, like interior, with the real coffee shop and newspaper stand and like the Burger King or whatever. It's the budget, and I think there's like a level of genius here in the approach. I don't think it always lands,
It's totally genius, yeah.
but it's insane to me what he can do. And Paul, to your point earlier about some of these people are gullible and they kind of just go for it, I think that's part of it. Like, I feel like he has such an understanding into the psyche of individuals that he knows once he pulls certain people in, they can't say no. They go along with it, not to their detriment or not to manipulate the viewers at home, but just to allow himself to execute whatever he's creatively thinking about.
Hands down, he manipulated the co-pilot. Like not manipulated, but like kind of forced his hand into that confrontation, because that's what it's all about: being able to confront the co-pilot, confront the actual pilot.
Right.
You know,
But that-
and not be scared to bring up, which is it's a valid point, because who wants to bring up an issue with somebody and have like an uncomfortable conversation? And so
Yeah.
he's bringing this into relationship wise, but that kid is definitely like gullible. I mean, he lives at home with his family. He like he what is it? His favorite dish was like from the Panda or whatever. And like
yeah,
he
Panda
has
Express.
Which I was having during the show last week.
Yeah,
too,
I
if you remember
it made me,
correctly.
yeah. It
he
made me
hasn't seen
think
his
of you.
girlfriend in 2 months.
But
It's
she
just
lives in a different state
Ye-
or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Which
I
makes
mean
sense because he's a pilot.
he has a very unique kind
Yeah,
of humor.
he's
Nathan
someone
Fillion.
who might fall for that, but I think the idea of him, number one, revealing that, my insecurities, that sometimes my girlfriend might someone might hit on her at work, and then Nathan being able to pull on that string and turn it into a main plot device for the bigger picture of the show, like, that's genius.
Yeah, yeah.
It
Yeah.
is, and it makes me question it again. It goes back to like what's real and what's staged, because it makes me question like that just worked out all too perfectly to tie into this research and this like variable that he's discovering about what's causing pilot error.
Yeah.
Like is that just too much of a coincidence? Just like these method actors that he's hired that look exactly to the T like the people they're supposed to follow, and
Well,
like how did that happen? How is
that's
that not a
intentional. I
coincidence?
mean, that's just casting, right? Like, these
Yeah,
guys they know how to cast. So they will cast people that look like other people who are actors. And I think that's pretty straightforward. And I think just from watching season 1, the show is definitely going to pivot really hard, I think, because, I don't know what's happening behind the scenes, but I think a lot of the episodes are him reacting. It's almost like a documentary of his process at the same time, because he'll rehearse this scene with this couple, and then he'll take that information, he'll identify a problem there, and in the next episode he's solving that problem in a whole other scenario, and it just evolves until the show kind of ends, but it kind of snowballs and one idea plays off the next.
Yeah,
um
which is what I'm saying. Like it's so perfectly coming out that yes, the concept is genius, and maybe it's just things
it's
working out
insanely
because
elaborate.
such they prepared so well for it. But it also
You-
makes you question, like, because you're questioning what's reality and what's staged in this show. Is that like is there something to that? Like, is this relationship between these two like just a coincidence? Because it sounds a little far fetched to me. Like
It might
first of
be.
all, first of all, this guy, first of all, this guy's girlfriend is like she's having jewelry bought for her. They're taking her out. Some guys
Buying her
taking her
flowers.
out, to dinner or coffee or whatever, and it's like, oh, that's just what customers do. And it's like he's like, oh, well, I don't know if she's gonna end up leaving me or cheating me. It's on me. It's like, yeah, dude, like, is your if your girlfriend is going out on dates with people, I mean, that's a bad sign, man. If someone's coming into her job and buying her shoes and jewelry and stuff, and then also she just seems like way too hot for this guy. Like, I don't know if it was just me, but it seems like, what is going on here?
but
This doesn't seem right.
it was really genuine though, because you felt uncomfortable in that situation. And Nathan,
Yeah.
like, he calls himself out because he's like, how do the co-pilot and pilot not sit down and have a conversation with each other before they get on the plane? And then he's going up to the guy, the actor he hired to go follow one of the pilots, and he's like, we've talked before, right? And he's like, no. He's like, when I hired you, didn't we have no.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
where are you from? Oh, okay. I guess people don't need to talk. And
Yeah,
he called
yeah.
himself out, which is pretty cool.
I did think, yeah, to Paul's point, like that scene, I guess, to both your points, Pedro, I completely agree. Like, he identifies this issue in this relationship, and then there very much is a way bigger issue than the character or us thought, right? Because there is someone in her life buying her all these gifts. But then, Paul, to your point, it's extremely uncomfortable in that scene where they're having this conversation. It's extremely uncomfortable. And then at the end, he gives her the weakest hug I've ever
Oh, I
seen
was
in
about
my
to say
life.
that awkward ass hug, man. It could be like you said, though. It could be like, look, he probably went through a bunch of co-pilots who were even, he had to narrow it down who was even willing to be on this show, right?
Yeah.
Because that's a big risk for your job, like, and then over those people that he auditioned to find this guy, and then like you said, like, oh, and you have a girlfriend you haven't seen in months, all right, And then he starts pulling, and then like, oh, you think she might be cheating on you? Let's bring her out here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it
like
could be that. He
it
just
could be a
filters.
combination.
He
I think it's
filters.
ridiculous that they use like these hangars to recreate an airport, and the actors were like, especially the actors who were paid to follow the other pilots, and they had to jump on a flight and actually follow him. And that one guy
Yeah.
who went into his hotel room, he
Yeah.
knocked on the door and he's like, "Yo, I think I left a frog here." I go check it out. He's like, "Oh, so what's up? You a pilot?" So like, if that's for real, like,
Yo, that's for real.
but to clarify, I did check IMDb, like you guys. So the girlfriend is not an actress, and neither is the
Yes.
co-pilot. He's not on there,
Yes.
just to clarify, because that would have
Yes,
ruined
that
my
is
whole
real.
thing for the show.
That would have
is
ruined everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
up until
So
that
just to
this
clarify,
point,
it's not.
real, yeah. But I think that's at the end of the episode, like you said, the like just the atmosphere, the body language, the weird hug between the couple. That just goes to show you that is what the result of getting into an uncomfortable conversation with your co-pilot equals. And that
Yeah.
is one of the reasons why they don't talk to each other and they don't bring this stuff up, because if the co-pilot does something like this and it creates issues with the pilot, I think they mentioned in the episode that the pilot, all they have to do is just report them, and the co-pilot would get fired, right?
Or be in big trouble, yeah.
Yeah. So just even taking the risk it's like you're kind of like scared to bring up any conversation while you're doing your job, because it might result in your job itself, not let alone making the whole atmosphere and just body language weird when you might be like on a like 8-hour flight with this person right next to you, with like the safety of hundreds of people in your hands.
Yeah. It's an interesting, complex problem to solve. His approach is just insane. I love the opening sequence too, when you're in the cockpit with the pilots. It crashes and there's flames everywhere, and the camera pans and there's Nathan with the laptop.
Standing in the flames.
Yeah, like the devil, bro, or something.
It's so uncomfortable, and then he's just there, like you said.
Is he? So I've watched enough Nathan Fielder. I haven't like researched him, but you don't know like who the real Nathan Fielder is, because it feels like he's always in character and his character never breaks. And this is like from him, from every single show. This is him.
Everything. Nathan for you, like everything.
Even The Curse, which is a scripted television show, he's this guy.
Yeah.
So that's the weird thing to me. Is like, I don't know who Nathan Fielder is. He says this is a comedy, but nothing funny is happening. Like, I'm watching, metaphorically, this relationship that he just exposed feels like a train crash, a plane crash rather. But yeah, he's an interesting guy. Maybe that's just who he is, but he never breaks character. I don't know.
I thought it was just one couple things to nitpick about the show. I thought his like voiceover voice, which again goes back to what you just said, like we don't know if that's him or if he's acting that way, but just like that monotone voiceover voice like was getting annoying to me, because it's a style that I've seen on like one or two other programs that I'm not going to mention, and it's like I don't know, it's like a hipster way of voiceovering and doing narrations.
But that's him. That's been him for 10 plus years.
Yeah. But we don't know, is he just does he have that tone of voice because the subject is so, so important or so serious and not comedic, or is he forcing it or not? And the other thing was just, what did you guys think about his laptop harness? I feel like I want one of those now. Like, I just want to walk around everywhere with one of those now.
What purpose is served?
I've never seen anyone with one of those, but it like perfectly holds a Mac, a MacBook, and just you could go anywhere because he was literally everywhere with it.
But like, to what end? Was he like taking notes? Like, I don't know what he was doing. Like,
Oh, you see what he does in season 1, because he had season 1 on his screen. He has like this elaborate like labyrinth of like, if this happens, then it's like, then the thread goes this way. A bunch of like scenarios played out.
Oh, like a
and you
process tree.
and you get to see it on his screen, and he's like, working it out. You can buy one on Amazon for $26.99 right now.
I'll tell you, if you guys have a
Check
chance,
that out.
Nathan, for you, I'll give you like a quick example of one of the episodes. So like Bruno said, he comes in, he has like a business degree, and he's like trying to market businesses better. So one business he targets is a gas station, and he has this brilliant rebate idea where in the fine print, like these people have to go on an overnight camping trip in order to be able to put in their voucher to get gas at like 5 cents a gallon or something like that. And the people don't know, so like they're getting pissed off, and they're on this big like bus ride, and the bus ride's like 6 hours. And they have to climb up a mountain, and like little by little, people are starting to like come off. But then it gets deep because again, it's these people that he targets, right? And these people are willing to do it, but you end up finding out they're doing it because they're kind of lonely, and they're willing to go out and do the camp out. And then it gets real. Another one, he hired a private investigator to follow him, but then he got a stunt double to imitate him. So the private investigator would follow the stunt double, and then he was trailing the private investigator.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like it's insane. He has that kind of humor, but like you say, he never breaks character, so it's kind of hard to see who he is.
Yeah, he's always this person in everything he does.
But it's genius. I mean, to go to this extent, it's pretty genius.
To even have these ideas, this is not something that you can brainstorm with a team. It comes from an individual. This is that kind of idea, like it's born from him.
I didn't love the curse though. I gotta say that I didn't like the curse. It was so lackluster.
Curse is a tough hang. It is a tough hang. Yeah, I didn't love it. But yeah, that's Nathan for you. That's not Nathan for you. That's the rehearsal. But we'll also watch Nathan for you if you want to just get a little sampler.
It is hilarious.
Yeah. Nathan Fielder, I'm reading that he revealed in an interview in 2022 that this series, it was inspired by 2 episodes of Nathan for You called Smokers Allowed and Finding Francis. So
Smokers Allowed I've seen.
Pretty interesting trivia right there, so just to see how the similarities between these things in his career.
Yeah. Check out season 1 too. You haven't seen season 1, Pedro? Watch the first 2 episodes. It is freaking genius what he does in these episodes. I'm gonna go back and revisit those as well. But yeah, the rehearsal is on Max. I think every Sunday after The Last of Us at some point. I think 9 or 9:30.
It's that Sunday lineup, man.
Stacked. I miss these Sunday lineups. I love it.
Well, we've discussed on the show before about HBO's Sunday primetime lineup being their like flagship shows. So
yeah,
a lot of eyes on these 2.
Yeah.
Speaking
anything
of HBO
else?
too, the Pit finale. The Pit ended up really strong. I liked it. To me, better than White Lotus. Like I said, better than Severance season 2, White Lotus season 3. Pit was really strong, and they're going for another season. It's probably going to involve like a 4th of July weekend. But definitely amazing, intense show. I can't recommend enough. Pit. Paradise was okay. I finished Paradise. I know I talked about it a while ago.
Oh yeah, I saw the first episode, but
unique. One episode was like top-notch TV. It was like episode 7. Gave me goosebumps, but it was okay.
Anything else you guys want to shout out or recommend for folks to check out?
Two quick movies that I saw. I got a chance to see, and they were really good. Warfare. That's an A24 movie. That's
Alex Garland too, right?
Yes.
From Civil War.
Civil War and Ex Machina. Also, the other director was Ray Mendoza. He's an actual U.S. Navy SEAL. This movie is like intense. It takes over like a night. It's Navy SEALs in Iraq. It's based on a real life story, from his past. and it follows them during an operation, and it's like from start to finish the operation, and it's intense. It's like, especially if you're listening with a good sound system, you feel like you're in there, and
And is that
it's good.
people
It's
see
like
that in
Black
theaters?
Hawk Down. Is that similar to Black Hawk Down?
Kind
vibes?
of, they're infiltrating a house until they get found out. Will Poulter's in it, Joseph Quinn, the new Johnny Storm, Michael Gandolfini, James Gandolfini's son. They're all in
Oh.
this. I would definitely recommend it. It's a good watch, and it's quick. It's a quick 90-minute. It's intense. And the other one too. Now, I don't love this actor Jonathan Majors, but this movie Magazine Dreams was good, and it really touches on. He's a bodybuilder, and he's definitely got some kind of social mental illness, and it touches on that. And again, it's another. He's good in it. I don't like the actor. I don't. They were lucky that this film got even released.
You're not going to
because of
get
all the
canceled,
stuff.
bro. You could say he's
Well, no, because of the domestic abuse, like the
Yeah,
domestic violence that he was involved in. I never really loved him as an actor. I didn't like him as Kang in like Ant-Man. I didn't think he was great. I did like him in Creed 3. He was pretty good. And other stuff I've seen him, he's okay. But he was really good in this, and I can't take that away. Even though I don't like the actor, I like what the product that they made, and I'm glad it got released. Very limited though. They didn't. They were really scared to take a chance on this, and it had limited release. But another like intense movie.
Okay.
Two intense
Pedro,
movies.
anything on your radar?
No,
Going to
I think
flow?
I'm gonna keep watching the series we've started. Just been focusing on those.
Okay, guys, we'll leave it there. Plenty of recommendations and stuff that we watched that you should check out. Come back next week, and we'll see you later. Peace.